Today we're going to talk a little bit more about maintaining that lookout for resources, creating the eye to look for mentors all the time in every field. So in a previous video, I talked a little bit about resources at the university, things that you can take advantage of to take your learning to the next level without relying so much on your classes to do it for you. Relying on the classes to take care of everything for you is kind of weak sauce. Don't go there. Maintaining that eye for looking for resources, looking for opportunities, can lead you to some really interesting mentors. And to that effect, I want to tell you a story. So when I was about 17, I was just around the age of graduating high school and getting started with life, and I found out that one of my neighbors was a shoe, boot, and saddle maker. He was a professional. He had a shop in the back of his yard where he would make saddles and do all kinds of crazy leatherworking. So I approached this neighbor and asked him, hey, would you be willing to teach me how to make shoes? And the way I approached it was probably a little funny. I'd been reading a lot of samurai stories, and so I approached it a little bit like, will you teach me the art of the sword? He got a kick out of that and said, yeah, I'll teach you how to make shoes. The one thing you have to recognize is that my time is worth more than your time, because I know what I'm doing and you do not, and I'm trying to run a shop here and make it work, so we're going to have to find a way for you to make my time worth it to teach you. And I thought, oh, well, that's something I never thought of at the age of 17. What we ended up doing is I swept out his shop whenever I got the opportunity, on my way to and from classes, after school, that kind of thing. I would sweep out the shop and do odds and ends and help him with filling sandal orders and other things that were fairly simple. And we had a deal where for every 10 hours that I worked for him, I would get an hour of instruction from him. So we worked out this sort of trade. And I worked for him long enough to get some good instruction, and he had me buy a book on how to make shoes, and we worked out of it. And I made this paper pattern out of manila envelopes, which I adjusted and was able to fit to my shoe using this tape. And eventually I made my own pair of shoes under his watchful eye, which was really an incredible experience. I designed these and made them. So the way we ended up doing it, he would make a step on a pair of shoes, and then I would mimic on my pair of shoes and do that back and forth, and I was able to make my own pair of shoes. Could I do it right now? Probably not. In fact, I'd have to do a whole lot of reviewing and talking to my mentor to figure out how to do it again. It's been many years since that time, but the experience itself was incredibly valuable. It taught me many things, including giving a trade of value in terms of giving something of my time, offering something in exchange to learn from someone else. If you look for mentors in your area, you will find them. There's an old saying which I got out of a Zorro movie, which is that if the student is ready, the master will appear. And throughout my life, I have found that to be absolutely spot on true. I remember similar situations to this one, working with another neighbor to learn some basics of guitar. To this day, I only know a few chords, but I can play a couple songs, and I'm on the first steps to learning more. Someday I hope to be able to serenade my wife with the guitar. I also had an opportunity, also just after high school, where I found a neighbor who was a martial arts master, and I was able to go over on Tuesday nights to learn from him, which was a phenomenal experience. He was among the better mentors I have had in the martial arts. A suggestion when you're looking for mentors, pay attention to what people are interested in and just engage them on what they do. Second piece of advice, old people are way more interesting than people my age tend to give them credit for. If you listen to old people, their stories will teach. I found a mentor in the last place where I lived. There was a lady who was very old, struggling, and she would knit. Her house was covered with knit things. And I was talking to her about this obscure form of Viking knitting called knoll bending. If you know what it is, props to you, comment below. If you don't know what it is, check out this video that I did on the topic. Knoll bending is where you knit essentially by making knots with a single needle. And I mentioned it to her saying, oh yeah, I'm interested in this thing, and I was thinking I was super hipster for it, and she said, oh yeah, I learned how to do that. My grandmother was super good at it and learned it from the old country. And I was sitting there thinking, teach me, so that I could learn all the tricks. Now, opportunities like that pop up all the time. Pay attention to them, take advantage of them, use them. Be sure to subscribe below if you haven't already. Hit the like button and comment what is one mentor that you found in your local area who has taught you something useful.